Now let's find out what Ant-Man was doing during Infinity War in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp, directed by Peyton Reed, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Lawrence Fishburne, Hannah John-Kamen, Walton Goggins, Michael Pena, Judy Greer, Bob Calvini, and some other actors. This movie is the sequel to the first Ant-Man movie, which was directed by Peyton Reed. It was supposed to be directed by Edgar Wright, but Edgar left the project because of creative differences with Marvel Studios, and the movie went to Peyton Reed instead. Now, I like the first Ant-Man a lot, even though Edgar Wright was not the director. I thought Peyton Reed did a really good job, so hearing about a sequel, I was really excited, and I thought this movie was pretty good. This movie, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, Ant-Man. In this movie, he is under house arrest because he broke the laws in the Captain America Civil War movie, helping Captain America, that dealt with keeping heroes in check. So because of this, he can't leave the house. He has to wear an ankle bracelet. He has to be monitored by the FBI. But Hank Pym, the man who created the Ant-Man suit and who was the original Ant-Man, as well as Hank's daughter, Hope, who's going to be the Wasp in this movie, they need Scott Lang because he has knowledge about the quantum realm. Because Hank Pym's wife, Janet Van Dyne, is stuck in the quantum realm, and they need the information inside Scott Lang's head in order to get Janet Van Dyne out, since he was the only guy to ever go into the quantum realm and get back out. Hank, as well as Hope, both believe that Scott has some type of information inside of him that may help them find out where Janet is. Of course, we have a villain getting in the way by the name of Ghost, played by Hannah John-Kamen. This villain has the ability to phase through objects, go through solid objects, become intangible, be invisible, but she needs a suit in order to control these abilities. And she believes that quantum energy from the quantum realm, can help deal with these powers and help her become more tangible again. But there's a second villain also getting in the way by the name of Simon Birch, played by Walton Goggins, who wants the Pym technology in order to sell it. So he's trying to get Hank Pym's portable laboratory that he has the ability to shrink and grow. We also meet one of Hank Pym's former colleagues, Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne, who worked with Hank when he was the original Ant-Man as a guy by the name of Goliath. He had the ability to grow very big. This movie also brings back the 3 comic relief characters, Michael Pena's character Luis, plus Luis's 2 buddies, played by T.I. and I forget the other actor's name. And I have to say I did like this movie. I thought this movie was very good. In some ways better than the first one, but in other ways not better than the first one. Almost right on par with the first one, pretty much. First off, with the positives, Paul Rudd is great in this movie as Scott Lang. I thought he really did a good job as Ant-Man. And then you have Evangeline Lilly playing the second superhero, the Wasp, who is really great. She does an excellent job in this movie. I really liked all the parts that she was in. All the ways that they used the shrinking and growing was really good. It really made the film very enjoyable and everything. The villain, the Ghost, was really good in the movie as well. A much better villain than Yellow Jacket was in the first movie. The Yellow Jacket was kind of a weak villain, and Ghost is a much better villain. a bit more memorable. I thought that Michael Pena's character was a bit more funnier in this movie, Luis, and his two buddies were a little bit annoying in the first movie. But this movie, the writing behind them was done a little bit better, so they weren't that annoying and actually were a bit more funny in this movie. And then you have Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie, who was very cute in the first movie. In this movie, she's just as good, and as well, Bobby Calabini and Judy Greer are also pretty good in the movie. Michael Douglas is also good in the movie, and Michelle Pfeiffer is pretty good in the film as well, what little parts she gets. Let's talk about the negatives of this film, because this has some problems too. First off, the character played by Walton Goggins, Simon Birch, I don't know why he's in this movie. This guy almost has no purpose really in this movie. He's just a villain that twiddles with his mustache kind of villain, really. He's there because he wants to get the pin technology in order to sell it, but they never say who he's selling it to. I thought for a moment that he was going to be working with Ghost, but he's not working with Ghost. He has his own evil agenda trying to get the portable laboratory, and I almost felt like the movie would have been much better if he wasn't in the movie. The only thing that he gives to the film is the cool car chases that you get to see in the film, really. And there's one scene involving truth serum. Oh wait, it's not called truth serum. According to them, truth serum doesn't exist, even though it really is truth serum. Just a different formula of truth serum. That's pretty much it for the movie. But overall, I really did like this movie. This movie was done very well. The other problem with this film is the development with Scott Lang's character. He looks like a bumbling idiot in this film, or a bit of a fool, because his suit is not working as well as it did in the first movie. But there are some good comedy with that, and I did find some of the jokes behind him not being able to get his suit working right funny. So it's a bit of a mixed bag with that little flaw. There's some positives and some negatives to that. I just enjoyed this movie a little bit more than the first one. The first one was really good, but this movie has a better villain. You got two heroes instead of one. Michael Douglas gets to do more in this movie. Lawrence Fishburne is in the movie, and he's pretty good in the film for what part he gets. Michael Pena is more funny in this movie than he was in the first one. And the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, that is done much better in this film. In the first film, the romance almost appears to come out of nowhere, even though you can guess that they're going to end up in a couple anyway. But in this film, the romance is much more developed and everything. And with that, I'm going to give this movie a B+, which is the same grade I gave the first movie. And that's all I got to say for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Check it out. I do think this is a good movie to see in theaters, and that's all I got to say for this film.